And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do this. So I need to put my gloves back on. All right, so last lesson, you will remember that I was actually mucking around and asking you guys to play around as well with choosing colours that you would like to put together for your work. Do you remember talking about that?
Yeah.
Yeah? Awesome. So what colours did we come up with?
What was that one color? The reddish looking one?
So the red oxide. So this one's red oxide. So if we were to use a dark colour like that, what do we probably need to think we need to use it with? A light colour or something that's going to contrast. So you can see if I put these two colours alongside one another, they're dramatically different. So the red, if I was to make that my top colour, would actually sit very well on top of the blue. Equally so, if I was to use, rather than the blue, the yellow oxide, they're very different to one another. There's enough of a contrast. You don't have to do what I'm about to say here, but I usually start with my lighter colours at the base and then I build up to my darker colours on top, which is normally what we do with printmaking. However, with printmaking, there's always room to experiment and change it up a bit. So you may start off with a really dark colour and then work up to really light colours. Try it if you want to see what's going to happen. Is that still recording? Awesome. So what colours would you like me to use? These two? Right, we'll go with these two. So I'm going to use the yellow as my light colour to begin with. Now, can you see how runny that is?
Yes.
Yeah? It's dripping out. It's too runny to use. So we have over here on our area, the spatulas to make sure that you just mix it up. Now I've got plenty of ink on my spatula, so I can actually use that and transfer it straight onto my cardboard, and this is now I've got excess ink. Don't waste it, put it back in the pot. Now that's got yellow on it, that's all it can be used for. Now, can you see how much ink is on that? That's a lot of ink. And I need to keep my areas clean. So already, where I've inked up, I've got mess on my desk. So this is where newspaper becomes your best friend. So I am going to continue to make mess. Watch how I use the newspaper in order to keep the space clean. So in here, I'm looking for the tarlatan that has the yellow ochre. Now, when you pick up a piece of tarlatan, it's just a piece of fabric that looks like this. We need to fold it up in a particular way. So I'm folding it so it looks a little bit like a giant, I don't know, inflated mushroom or something, where it doesn't have any creases. Does that make sense? And then I just grab it from behind. And now, because I've got my gloves on, I can wipe the excess off. Now the point of this whole exercise is to keep the ink in the cracks and you get the area around it clean. Now I'm getting quite a bit of mess on the newspaper, so all I need to do is just turn the newspaper over and I've got a clean space to work again. And I can use the corner of my newspaper to stop it from moving, and I continue to wipe it. Turn the whole thing around and wipe it. Now if you're really fastidious, which means fussy, like I am, then working on the cardboard, sometimes you need to just go a little bit further. So there are two things you can do. You can use the Q-tips, you can use tissue paper, And you can wipe it using the tissue paper. You just need a little bit of it, you don't need lots. So you tear off pieces of tissue paper. You can hang on to it with one side, and then I'm using this part of my hand, round and round circles, and that will take any ink that I didn't get off with the tarlatan. Can you see how it's coming off? I can flip it over if I need, or just get a different part of the tissue paper. And then I can take the other one in my other hand, hold on to it with the one I just used, get the other bit of the plate that I didn't get. And because it's cardboard, it's a little bit difficult for you to see how well that's been wiped back. The other thing that you must make sure is that you clean the edges. Can you see how grotty those edges are? So just go around with a bit of tissue paper. Don't use newspaper because the black of the print will come off. And then you're ready to go and print. So I don't have to wait for anybody to actually get off the press. So I can take this directly straight over to the press.